Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click record. Okay, so I wanted to do a little bit of host coaching training, or basically just chatting about things that work for me, things that have been shared with me by like other leaders, other people who are having different successes with different things. Most of you have seen a lot of my host coaching. I've been playing with some new stuff recently, and kind of testing it out to see how it works, because when I first started my host coaching, I used the same host coaching, you guys, for probably a year until I was like, I just don't feel like it's like working. Like, I didn't change a thing in my host coaching for an entire year. And then I realized that I needed to kind of adjust and do new things, and because everything, Facebook and all the things, everything adjusts. So hopefully Vicki will hop on soon and she can chat about what she does, because she has had very successful parties, and I would love for her to share all of her successes with you guys as well. But if I can leave you with anything by the end of this meeting, is just that host coaching is going to be very key to a successful party. Because I don't know if you guys have ever been to a party, or maybe you've hosted a party for someone and maybe you didn't know what to do or say or how to engage in your party, and it wasn't a very productive party because you didn't know what you were doing. Well, we have lots of those people who are hosting for us who don't know what to do in a party, and that's our job to help them have a successful party. So for us, I guess, let me start with what what I do and what some other people have given me for what they do before, during, and after for coaching our hosts. There's lots of great ways to prepare your host for their party. I know some people do host coaching phone calls, like they do a phone call with their host before the party even starts. I'm not that person. I don't get on the phone with my host. I don't do a Zoom with my host. It would definitely boost my sales and probably help my coaching, but I do anywhere from 6 to 8 parties a week, and that's just not time efficient for me. So Facebook messages is how I get through to my hosts. And I like to prepare them by getting their party ready 4 days, roughly, like 4 or 5 days before their party starts is when I'll help set the party up. I have them invite their guests. You guys have all seen that in my host coaching if you've looked at the host coaching template in our team page. But I send host packets, you guys. Usually the Monday, the week before their party. So like this week, for next week's parties, which are, oh my gosh, what is today? The 13th, 14th. So next week, my parties start on the 19th, and I will send their host packets 8 or 9 days prior to their parties starting. That way I know that it gets to them. And I send a catalog. I'll send, I don't think we have these anymore on Consultants Corner, which kind of upsets me. These are my last ones. I send little recipe cards, just a fun little Pampered Chef recipe card. These are super old school. These are even in products that we don't necessarily carry anymore. I'll send a catalog. I'll send a recipe card. Sometimes I'll send our mini catalog as well, because this one usually highlights like all of the newer stuff, and it's easier to find all those and gets them excited about them. And then I also send an opportunity brochure that talks a little bit about the business. So when you guys do ask your hosts if they've ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef, they might have a little bit more of an idea because they've seen this in their host packet, and it shows them the kits right there. And it also shows them that hosts can save $50 when they join the business. And then they can ask about that, and you can let them know about the kit credit that they can earn during their party. So all of these things prepare them. Also, I print off, it's a virtual party planner. Do you guys want to see that real quick? I actually have it on my computer that I print off and send. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Let's see. All right, so it's two-sided, so I usually print it and just have it print on like the front and back of a piece of paper. But this also helps like guide them as well as your host coaching. You can base your host coaching off of this. If you don't like my host coaching, you can totally create your own. But this literally gives them step-by-step what they can do, like create your wish list, block out the days and times that we have said that are going to be your party, collect orders. I always star next to this collect orders thing. And I also put in here, it says set a goal to gather blank orders outside of Facebook before the party starts. I will offer my hosts an extra gift if they are able to gather 4 orders before their party starts. And then you can plug in the guest special that they can share with their guests. I actually used to print off the guest flyer and send it in their packet too. But then I don't know. I don't know why I stopped that. I should, just so they have it right in front of them. And I sometimes will print off the host flyer as well, like the host special. So that's just added. I think I took them out because it like pushed my host packet only costs like $1.75 to send in the mail via the post office. Don't go to one of those like shipping places because they charge an arm and a leg. And then it just gives them tips. And then it also gives them another, I know this is on the back of our catalog, but it shows them, you guys, what the rewards are that they can earn. And I always like to, on this, I circle like the top 3 and I say, let's aim big, invite your entire friends list for their party. And then they're kind of prepared for me to let them know I would love for them to send an invite to like all their friends. So I just love this. It also just gives people something to have in their hands. I love looking at a catalog instead of shopping online. Sometimes our catalog online, or rather our website, you have to go through categories and you can't really see everything, which is another reason why I also like to send not only just the hosts, but the guests, the interactive catalog. So those are just the few things that I put in the host packet. And I stopped actually doing host packets for a while. And I did actually see a dip in cancellations. Like people were canceling more often because sometimes like the Friday before we'd set up their party, they're like, oh, I totally forgot about this. I have to cancel. Well, if we send that host packet, it's a reminder before we start setting up the interaction with the host. So I have seen better success with people keeping their party dates when I'm sending those host packets. So I do that before a party. I also encourage them to create a wish list, because once they create that, we can attach it to their party, and then we have an idea of what they're wanting and how we can best help them and say, oh my gosh, I see that you have that blender on your wish list and about like $200 more worth of products. Like, let's get that blender for you for 60% off this month. Even if it's not on a 60% off month that blender is a special, they can still get it for 50% off with a qualified party. So you have that, and then you can work them up to invite a few more friends if they haven't invited enough friends. So there's just ways that the wish list can help us guide them for a successful party. I already said coaching. I have notes down here so I don't forget, you guys. But just preparing them for their party. Like I said, you can be as creative as you want. I know some people create pre-recorded videos that they send in like a Facebook message, because sometimes getting people on the phone is hard, but they like that interaction between people. I did notice that Vicky just hopped on. Hi, Vicky.
Sorry, I was using an actual clock on the wall, and it said 5 minutes till. When I got here, it said 5 minutes till, but it was like 6 minutes after, according to my cell phone clock. I'm actually cooking for a thing tonight, so I left everything in there, and that's why I was going off their clock. But I'm in my car, so I can be here.
Oh, well, I know you have some stuff that you're busy with tonight. So if you want, I will stop where I'm at and I will have you share all the things you wanted to, so you can get back to what you were doing.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of what I had planned on saying, because we talked about host coaching, like what do you do to get your hosts engaged? And it sounded like you were kind of covering one of the things that I do, that I try to do religiously, just before the party, the week before, sometimes two, depending on how far out the party has been scheduled, I send out the host packet with the virtual party planner that you scheduled or that you showed on your screen. I always send at least one catalog, and I try and send two of the mini catalogs. And right now, I'm including also that gift guide that we have, and flyers for all specials with the opportunity brochure and the kit coupon. And I've actually started sending recently a couple of sales forms because I have people asking quite a bit for people who aren't on Facebook at the moment. So I've been sending out a couple of those as well. And then I try to check in the week before the party. So my parties start on Wednesday, like your old schedule. And so on Friday, Thursday or Friday, I try and check in and remind them and say, hey, can't wait for your party to get started. And I've also been setting up their Facebook page and their party page on that Friday. And in the new tools, there is a host coaching section, and there's actually a checklist that you can use, which is pretty similar to the stuff that I do. So I've kind of been using that checklist to keep track rather than a piece of paper. But there is a place that you can send an email, like a before the party email. And I send out like a happy fall. Here's some housekeeping tips before we start. Let them know that I've created their show and their Facebook party group. And I send a link to the people to invite element that is in that host coaching. And it goes through a list of 40 different people or categories of people to look for or invite. And it tells them how to create their account and lets them know I'm going to send over a save the date. So I kind of cram a lot of the details stuff that I used to put in Messenger that got kind of lost in Messenger. I had hosts who would have to like scroll back and go, oh yeah, this is how I do this. So it's easier to send this email in one shot, and you can do it through the host coaching. And then I asked them, I kind of use the same outline as yourself and Steve Drapolsky, where I send them a message asking them to like my business page first before I give them the host coaching post on the first day that I'm posting to them, which would be that Friday. And the reason I do that is then I can add them to their group and make them a moderator without having to use my personal profile to do it. So to add someone to your party, you have to have them on your business page, or else you have to use your personal account to add them. So other than that, I send them on that day when they join their group, I send them out the first set of posts to invite people. And then Saturday, I send out a reminder to do that. And I'll send out the save the date graphic for them to post to their personal page. If they do that, then I will send them a post a little bit later on Saturday. So there's two posts on Saturday, one with the save the date and the next one with a personal invitation. And I ask them if they're willing to send out the invites before I send over the wording to send an invitation. Because I want to know that they're going to do it, that they're okay with doing it before I say, hey, here, post this in personal invitations. And I haven't had anybody say no yet, but I want to give them the option. You never know.
Yeah, no, totally.
So then from there, I just, on the first day of the party, or the first day of the pre-party, which is Monday. So all invitations are on the weekend. Then on Monday, I just have them post a welcome to my party kind of post and have them post a welcome graphic. And the reason I do that is I want everyone to see that they are active in their party. It's their host talking to them and not me. And then on Tuesday, which is the second day of pre-party, the day before their party starts, I have them post about their wish list. And it's for the same reasons that you were saying. The more we know about what people want or what their guests want, the better we can speak to them and what they need, as opposed to just posting something that is templated out to the point that we aren't responding to what people are doing.
Hmm.
Um, Wednesdays, I have them post the party starts today post so that people know that we're going to start looking at products. Um, Thursdays, I have them post a graphic that's like their worst kitchen headache so that I can, again, find solutions for people. So Wednesday and Thursday is finding solutions for people. Um, and then Friday, I have them post something about the consultant kit. My consultant loves her business. Ask her any questions, that kind of thing. Because I want to start people thinking about that. Um, and then Saturday, I have them post directly to people. I don't actually have them post in the party unless they're posting something for themselves. But I have them write to people who have been active in the party but haven't placed an order to send a reminder to their guests that the party is going to close the following day. And um, it's written to be really low pressure. Like, it's not go order now, my party's closing. It's, hey, just wanted to make sure you remembered. I know everybody gets busy. And if you aren't planning on placing an order, think about hosting a party. I still get party credit, blah, 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 something along those lines. And then, of course, on Sunday, they post a thank you for coming to my party. But the big thing is to use what questions you're asking, or at least from my opinion, use the stuff you're asking to find out more about how you can serve the needs of the guests and the host in your party. And you can use your host and your host's posts to find that out, to do that, so that you're not just out there asking, hey, what do you want?
Yeah. No, I love that because honestly, when our hosts are the ones doing those asks, their friends are more, I feel like they're a little more apt to respond to them because when we're asking those, they're seeing that we have a hidden, not that we do, but there's like, oh, the consultant has a hidden agenda and she only wants to know because she wants to get that sale, she wants to get that booking, like those types of things. But when our hosts are doing it, they are helping us, but in a way, like I am more, I mean, I would probably be more apt to respond to my friend in a party if they're asking, like, what is the hardest thing in your kitchen right now? Like, what's your biggest headache? And I'm going to probably share in there that I hate unloading the dishwasher. Like, I will load it all day long, but I hate to unload the dishwasher. And even if that doesn't have anything to do with anything we can possibly help them with, other than maybe the blender that washes itself, but we start that conversation and we can get to know them a little bit on a deeper level that they don't like doing dishes. But it builds that connection and they no longer feel like you can respond to them in the party and your host is the one that created that conversation. And then it's just a conversation between like the party and the guest and the host and all the things. So I love that. I love getting the hosts involved in the party, which is going to be key, you guys, like super key. Because if you don't have a host involved in your party, their guests probably aren't going to be involved either. I've had those parties and they're awful. And we can only host coach so much if somebody's not willing. But keep going, Vicki. Sorry, I went off on a Danny tangent.
No, it's totally okay. So really that was, I was trying to think, what is it that I do with host coaching? And I decided that the best way to say that is say, okay, I do this on this day and this on this day. I really tried not to have the host do any selling, if you will. I've been to parties, especially recently, and not Pampered Chef ones, where it's like, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. And that I don't want the host to feel that pressure. They're supposed to be having fun.
Hmm.
It's their job to bring people to the party, and it's my job to make it fun and show people things that they're interested in, um, and not make it about the the sale, because that makes it a not fun party.
Yes, absolutely. And I totally agree on that. Like the things that we're coaching our hosts to say, like they need to be genuine and not like, oh, I can totally tell that the consultant had them post that. Like those types of things. Cause I mean, people are smarter than you think, you guys, and they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, no, totally. That was definitely a coached thing where they were supposed to say that. We've all been to those parties. We've probably all kind of been like, okay. But, or maybe that's just me. I don't know. But a few things that you said that I absolutely love. And one thing that I'm like, gosh, I keep for like, you get to the point where you like do certain things and then maybe you'll drop one thing and then you won't even realize how important that one thing might have been until you're like, oh, you know what? I haven't been doing that in a while. Maybe I should try it again. Not try it again. I, for the longest time, had like I keep forgetting about that email that home office supplies us with, you guys. In your consultant's corner, when you create a party, that email that you can send before the party is great because they pre-write everything out for you. Raise your hand if you know what email I'm talking about.
Hey,
No.
Danny,
Yeah.
I'm going to interject.
Okay.
The emails are still there, and I actually sometimes send two, depending on how tech challenged the person I'm working with is. So, but there's two places you can get those emails. One is on the email host, but if you go to host coaching, you can send them an email through host coaching. So, and the reason that I've been using the host coaching one a little bit more, is I took the old wording from the old Pampered Chef thing and kind of adjusted it for a virtual party. And so I had written that out and had it as like a template that I keep. But when they went to the all new host coaching, some of the elements don't update. Do you remember in the old email consultants corner and with the after the party one, it would say you spent this much and saved this much and this was your percentage savings?
Mine
It
still
doesn't
do that.
it doesn't populate that anymore.
It has been for mine.
Okay, mine has not been populating like ever since I switched over to new tools.
Mm-hmm.
That email where it says um, this is how much you saved in the email section of Consultants Corner, it hadn't been populating those figures, those dollar numbers and percentages. So
Interesting.
yeah, so there's just two places to email now. And instead of using the old style one, I've been using the new style one with words that I have saved.
Okay, so I'm going to show everybody real quick where we're talking about. So if you go, hold on, can you guys see my screen? Just want to make sure. Yes, okay. So if you go into parties and orders, there is actually, so if you just click either on their party or off to the side right here, there's these three little dots. You can click that and it'll pop up and it'll say email host. When you click on that, it will pop up right here. It'll say email before the show and email after the show. So before the show, it'll automatically populate like the host's name. And then it says like, thank you for hosting, blah, blah, blah. And it gives like a step-by-step. You can create an account for yourself. Once you're signed in, this is how you attach your show to you as the person. If they aren't able to log in or see anything, one main thing that I would say is double check the email with whatever they're using, because sometimes it's happened to me where they've either misspelled an email or maybe it was my mistake where I put the email in wrong and they haven't had access to it. So if that ever pops up, just check on that first. But it'll tell them how, like Vicki was talking about, how to quickly build your guest list. then they can actually send emails from their host dashboard if that's something they want to do. If they have people who aren't on Facebook, that's a great feature for them as well. And then after the show, like once you close the party out, there's another email that will populate. And so on mine, Vicki, like right here, it's even showing, obviously this party hasn't happened. So it's still saying you received 0 worth of products for $0. That's a $0 savings. Well, it'll populate that after the party is over and they've done their shopping, and the account, like it'll automatically populate that.
Right. And just make sure that it's populated, because I almost sent one. It was a closed party and I almost sent one out and wait, oh wait, that's not populated. I mean, it pulled out their name and the show and all of that, but it didn't insert those numbers. And maybe it's because I moved to the new party tools pretty recently. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know why it's not auto-populating, because it used to. I used to love that feature of it, that
Yeah.
I didn't have to think of what it was that they had saved, that Pampered Chef did it for me.
Yeah, no, I love that. Pampered Chef, they really supply us with so many great tools and resources, just all on its own. And we've just kind of restyled and revamped and kind of made stuff our own. But another thing that Vanessa just reminded me of, if you go into the actual show info, if your host is having a hard time finding their dashboard, or like it's not linking, I can't find where you're trying to coach me to get to, like connect my show, I can't find it. There is a section when you just click on their party. I'm sure all of you have seen this page. If not, we can chat later, where you can find all of their information here. This is where you can double check their email, but there's also this spot called links, where it not only shows us what their shopping link is, but you can also copy and paste this spot that says host dashboard, share it, copy it, send it to your host, and it sends them directly to their host dashboard, where they just have to log in. And that's where they can create all their things. And that's where they'll see all of their host rewards and everything like that. So, and then this is also where Vicki was talking about, where Pampered Chef supplies us with some host coaching tools and checklists and all of these. These are just things that home office has talked to multiple consultants out there who are very successful with their parties, and these are some of the things that they've said that they're doing in their parties. Just because they're all here doesn't mean you have to do them all. Or maybe you're like, well, I'm doing this and it's not on here, maybe I should stop doing that. Do things the way you're going to want to do them. I will be honest, I have never used home office's checklist, just because I have found something that works for me, and I've been doing it since before they created this. But if this is something that you would like to have and use, then by all means use this, because whatever works for you is going to work for you. So, and a lot of them are some of the things that we already do, but it's a great checklist as well. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else on this screen.
If you scrolled right down just a little bit further, Danny, there's a message to the host,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a little populated thing in there. But I've been putting the templated one that was based off the old system email one in there, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm already in that host coaching area doing other stuff. And I like that I can link those images down below
Mm-hmm.
and add 40 people, the links for suggested things. Anyway, it kind
Yeah.
of ties all of the marketing imagery and marketing materials for communicating with the host that used to be kind of spread out all over PCU. They're sort of
Mm-hmm.
all there now.
And for those of you who are new and are like, what on earth is PCU? We used to have, before the Dash trainings that you guys are so accustomed to now, something called PC University, and it was just training, but it, like Vicki said, it was just kind of all over the board, and it was in a website, and you had to search stuff and go through things, whereas Dash is like all in one and just a little more organized. But yes, I do love all of this stuff down here. If you're not a Facebook Messenger person, like you can either email or text message, like they can auto populate a text message, and you can insert these things into the text messages. So that's a great tool as well, especially for some of us who fear the worst of Facebook jail and worry about messages or anything like that being a cause of Facebook jail. You can use this as well. So that is all really great information as well. Now that we've gone over way over time that I thought we were going to talk about pre-host coaching, I wanted to give just a few quick tips. I don't want to make this call too long. I know sometimes watching a call back for like an hour is kind of gruesome. So, but a few tips that I have as far as like during your party, I'm going to stop the share real quick. Making it fun and easy for your hosts is going to be key, because if you are forcing your host to do either too much or too often, or, I mean, there are some people out there who are very tech challenged. And when it comes to like copying and pasting and then figuring out how to copy and paste into a new browser and then also download the photo and attach that, sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. So one thing I've recently tried and I'm actually loving is I've created, kind of like Vicki says, where you're having the host post something where you need to create a solution for the people, like the what's your biggest kitchen headache. I'm creating that in an image. And so I've created an image where like what Susie Homemaker's like sitting like this in her kitchen staring at a bunch of dirty dishes, and I've added it to just a background, and I say what's your biggest kitchen headache on the photo. And then what I do is I just send it to my hosts and be like, okay, today here's your post. Post this photo with a simple, quick message to your guests. It can be something like XYZ, and I give an example, but I make them come up with their own post, because then it's more authentic to them. And if you just so happen to have guests who are a guest at another party, like say you just had a host and some of their guests are now in this new party, like they're going to be seeing all the same things from our hosts if we don't have them create the authentic material anyway. So that's something that I've changed up. And honestly, it's been sometimes like my hosts before weren't even doing the post because they're like, either I don't know how to copy and paste, or I don't want to do it. And now they're like, oh, awesome. I just have to share a photo and create my own little quick, like, even if it's just something like, hey, mine is unloading the dishwasher. What's your biggest headache? That's all they have to post. And my post, the host posts are actually getting way more engagement than the hosts posting something that I've given them. So if that's something you want to try, give that a shot and do like engagement posts. I have one that says drop a GIF. It's the Pampered Chef created one. It's actually on the marketing imagery. It's got that pizza stone in the middle, and it says drop a GIF with the face you make when your family asks what's for dinner. That is like one of my hottest host posts that gets so, and it's hilarious to see all of the GIFs of people like, because they're just awful pictures of like, really, what's for dinner, like that kind of stuff. And it's just fun, and it gets everybody laughing and they enjoy the party a little bit more. So that's what I've been changing a little bit in my host coaching, and it makes it just so much easier on our hosts. The other thing that I'm doing during my parties with my hosts, so I have like my host coaching template that I'm sending them, but I'm also creating that relationship with them individually. I do my host coaching in group chats, and I try to keep that chat as quiet as possible, as far as this is where we're going to post all of the host suggestions, but we'll chat separately throughout the week on other topics, just so they know that like we're not just shoving them into a group chat and we don't have any relationship with them on the side, because then it almost feels like they're a transaction and not like a friend, because I make friends with a lot of my hosts and I do that individually. So it could be a group host chat, but then I'm individually talking with them as well. But that's a little bit more fun, where I'm encouraging them like, holy smokes, you have 30 people in your party already. Your friends love Pampered Chef. Did you even know that many people on your friends list wanted to join the party? I mean, some people like I have to convince, but some people are like, I don't think I'll have enough friends that'll come to a party. And I'm like, well, you might be surprised. Let's get that party booked. It's no skin off my back. I love to try to spoil my hosts with all these great rewards. So when they get in this party and they're like, wow, I did not expect 30 of my friends to go. Like getting that excitement up in an individual message helps them get excited about continuing their party and continuing to post all these things. And I'll touch base with them when, like I said, when their attendance is up, when they have a ton of people who are commenting and having fun. If the host is not participating as much as possible, I will send them a message. I have no shame in holding my hosts accountable and be like, hey, so your friends are kind of either absent or maybe they're participating and they're still not hearing from their host. I will reach out to the host and be like, hey, I just want to make sure that we get the best rewards possible this week. Be sure that you're checking in with your guests and have fun and interact with them. More interaction from you means more rewards and more free stuff. So I touch with them when they're getting orders. Like if I touch base, if they're hitting like $100 to $200, $300, $400 in sales, I'm letting them know, guess what? You just hit the next level of rewards. You're X amount of dollars away from the next one. I can't wait to celebrate that next level. Just any kind of positive, I don't want to say reinforcement because that doesn't really make sense, but just positive interaction that you can have with your host and boost their confidence and say, oh my gosh, you have this many friends. Here's your next level of rewards. Oh my gosh, you just hit $300 in sales. Did you know that as a host, you just earned a $25 kit credit? Have you ever thought of doing something like Pampered Chef? So there's different ways to use the host coaching as a tool for better sales. A potential team member who didn't know that they could join the business for a lower price and they could be thinking it, but we don't know it. So why not ask? So all of those things that I'm doing during the week. I also am going to start having my hosts not like, I don't want my hosts to have to book parties for me, but we can encourage them and let them know, like, if you guys are struggling with bookings and you're like, I just can't figure out how everybody's getting all these bookings, try seeing if your host is willing to send a few messages. Just be like, hey, so I have a question. If you were to get 3 party bookings for me, would you want a free whatever you want to give them? Give them a gift incentive for booking 3 parties for you and be like, would you reach out to 3 to 5 friends and start a 3-way chat and just be like, hey, so-and-so, I think you'd be really fun or a really great host. Like we can come up with words to say in a 3-way chat. And then once that person has seen that message, you can then go in and be like, hey, so-and-so totally said you might be down to host a party. I'd love to help spoil you with the amazing rewards that we're spoiling her with. Also, she gets a bonus 50% off item at your party, which is going to help your sales and your rewards as well. Would you be interested in hosting your own party? So using host coaching for bookings, you can use host coaching for all things. And just the more you get your host involved, the better their party is going to turn out. So one other tip, sorry, I know I'm kind of rambling at this point. One other thing that I'm starting to do is I'm really encouraging my hosts to do not my thank you posts, but doing thank you posts for us, because when they're thanking their guests are like, okay, my host isn't all about just getting their free stuff. Like they're actually happy that we're supporting them. I still do my thank you posts regardless of the hosts doing that, because I also feel like I need to thank them for supporting not just their host, but my small business as well. So that's just something I do, but I do 1 thank you post a day. I don't post every time my hosts are getting orders. Just because I don't want to overwhelm. Sometimes we do have those parties that there's just like booking or sale after sale after sale. But I'm doing it now once in the morning when I wake up, and I thank everybody from the previous day. Thank you so much for supporting your host with your order this week. Hope you have, or just whatever is authentic to you for that. And then I also have my one last tip, you guys, and then I'll open it up for questions or other things that you guys want to say. Some things that other people are doing. I don't know if you guys know about text replacement. If you're like, okay, like it's just time consuming copying and pasting and doing this and putting it there. There is text replacement that you can literally do. Like if you're doing daily host coaching, be like, in a text replacement, say Tuesday host coaching, and then it'll input whatever it is that needs to go in there. I am not sure how to do that on an Android. If you aren't sure how to do that on your phone, go to Google and say text replacement for whatever your phone is, and just watch a little Google or a YouTube video on it, and it'll walk you through it. But I use an app called OneNote, which you guys all know, and I copy and paste because it's easy for me and I'm just used to it. So find what works for you and what's going to make your life a little easier for you and your hosts. So that is a ton of information all at once in the last 40 minutes, but I'm going to open it for questions or anything else that you guys maybe want to add. If anybody else has anything to add, like maybe they're doing something that's working well with their hosts. Anyone? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I hope that was that beneficial for some of you, like figuring out some new ways to help with the hosts and do all that. Sierra, that was funny. Is that your husband or a child?
It's Adam.
Okay, that makes sense. So husband/child.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, if nobody else has anything else, oh wait, I'm checking the chat. I don't think I quite understand what you put in the chat bar, Maya. You might have to message me afterwards. But anyway, okay, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna load this for anybody who wasn't able to hop on. You guys feel free to tag your team members on the post after I load it. It might be like 8 or 8:30 by the time I get it done, but I will talk to you guys later. Bye.